Hey everybody, Jeff here. I'm joined by Adam today.
Hi.
With the Embroidery Nerd, and today we're working on a little bit of a 60-minute challenge. So this may or may not have been thrown down, and we'll see if we can do it, but the challenge is that we need to come up with a design and digitize it in 60 minutes that has to do with zebras. So we're going to do our best to come up with that. It's going to be going on a towel, so we're going to be dealing with the nap of the towel and all of that fun stuff. You can tell we're super excited. And we're going to see if we can come up with something that will go ahead and meet all of those criteria. Before we get started, though, we'll jump in the comments here and bring up a couple of them. We've got Letty. Hello, Letty. How's it going? And we have Eric. Have to run shortly, but wanted to jump in and say hi and show my support. Hope you guys are doing great. We are. Always glad when you guys can hang out with us. So let's, I guess we're going to get started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? You ready?
Oh, yeah.
At least he's ready. Let's bring up the software. So let's see. Zebras. I'm going to guess that we're going to talk about zebras.
Why are you looking at me?
Well, I mean, it's a challenge. You're supposed to come up with it. Yeah, he's not going to come up with it. All right.
I have an idea.
Oh, he has an idea. I'm ready.
So, what if we have a baby zebra and then there's text under it that says "Born for the Wild," like on baby clothes, but we put it on a towel. Let me guess, horrible idea. Yep.
I don't know. I think it's not that bad. Born for the Wild. Let's see here. You know, the hard part's going to be the baby zebra.
Yeah, but I kind of meant one of those cartoony ones.
the cartoony baby zebra.
Yeah, like, you can tell it's not real, but you can tell it's a zebra.
You can tell it's a zebra. So we want to be able to tell that it's a zebra and that it's going to be cartoony.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds hard. Although you said born for the wild. So let's start out here. We'll get the bottom text in because that's going to be the biggest. Let's grab a couple more comments. I am watching the comments here. Eric says we can do it. In theory, we can. And Regina, hello from Virginia. Nice that you could join us. So let's start off with the text. We're going to just do basic keyboard lettering for right now because I think we just need to kind of lay out the size. And so you said born for the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. So born. For the. I'll spell it right. Yeah. There we go. So I think, let's look at the size here. Let's get out of metric and we'll go to US. And a towel's about, I don't know, that wide. That seem about right? It's about like that. Somewhere in there. Yeah. He thinks so. So somewhere in there, I'm going to say that's going to be right around, well, let's just throw the text here at 2 inches tall. So that's 2 feet. I think that'll fit on a towel.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, he says. All right. So the first thing I want to do here is I want to grab it and I want to make sure that I can kern the lettering because it looks like it's going to be, let me unlock it. So while those of you who are playing at home, I lock the text with my keyboard. I do that sometimes. So let's kern the words here a little bit because that looks a little spaced. Actually, I changed my mind. All right. And we will go with an Applique font, and apparently Applique is not not in the system there. Let's look for an Applique font. There's got to be one. What it's called, though, I have no idea, but we'll find out. We might just turn this into an Applique font. We could just go with like a college block. What do you think about that? A college block font. College Applique. There you go. It's like it was made for us. Yeah. So we'll double check here. John says, good luck. I'll catch the whole attempt later. I think we've got this. Maybe. We'll find out here. So let's zero out our text. We're at 1.9 inches tall, and we're roughly 29, almost 30 inches wide. And I think that that's a little bit too wide for us. But what we can do is we can grab here and we can kern our text a little bit. And for those of you that don't know what that means basically we're going to adjust the spacing in between the words. We're going to bring it all just a little bit closer here to decrease our overall width, while still kind of giving us the same effect here. So let's double check how wide we are now that we've adjusted it. We're roughly 27 inches, so we were able to bring it in just a little bit. Now, it is an applique font, so let's double check here. We've got you can see we've got a lot of steps over in our sequence window, and that is essentially all of the steps to do the applique individually. We've got our letter spacing, sequencing, and let's see here, fills, outlines, all of that fun stuff. So I want to break it apart, and I'm not going to use a keyboard shortcut. And we'll select everything and we'll break it apart again. And we'll select it all again and we'll break it apart again. Because really what I want to do is I want to get all of these kind of color sequence together. Because I should be able to do all of my placement stitches, all of my tack down stitches, and then all of my cover stitches on the whole thing in one go. So let's double check here. We've got all of our run stitches, outlines. Yep. Run, 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 run. There's a lot of letters in here, Adam. You should have done like a smaller word. Oh, and I messed it up.
It's 2 4-letter words and 2 3-letter words.
So we're going to do sequence to the start. Let's just all go to the end there. And now I'm going to sequence it to the start. And now I've got all of the letters going. And we'll do the same thing with the zigzag. So how I did that is I went up here to edit, select by stitch type. I know that my tack downs are basically going to be zigzags. So right there. And now I'm going to bring that sequence to the end, and that should put everything together. We do have a weird thing going on with that H, but we'll go ahead and move this up one color. So we're going to go back one color. And so now I should have all of my starts, all of my run stitches, and all of my tack down stitches. And that one is a little weird, that H over there. I don't know what you did to it, Adam, but it seems weird. So then we go down with all of our cover stitches. So now we've got the main text. Let's see here. We need to look at this one because that one, it's showing as, there we go. That looks like it fixed it. So now we've got our main applique element there. It's going to be the text. We may have to drop it into 2 lines. What do you think? 1 line, 2 lines? Born for the Wild. And it looks like everything's going to be okay. Double checking. Yeah, I think it's going to hold down pretty well, cover well. I am going to change a little bit here on the underlay of all of this. Let's check out what underlay we have. We don't have any underlay, and what I really want to change that to is I want to do it to a double zigzag here. And the reason for that is we are planning on putting this on a towel, and I want to make sure that we get a lot of knockdown or smash, or there's like 18,000 ways to say it. But really what I wanted to do is I want to make sure that I don't have any nap poking through. So I'm going to have a double zigzag go to just help hold all of that stuff down before we get to the final text. The other thing that we might do, and I can't completely decide on that, is we might throw down a cross hatch. Hatch calls it a hatch smash, and Brilliance has the term knockdown. But we could put something down here in the middle of all of these letters to make sure that it's going to hold everything down. What do you think?
I think that sounds good.
I figured you would. So we'll go ahead and start with the B. I'm just going to copy and paste that. So now it's up on the top. I'm going to turn it to, we'll go with a square, that one. We'll check out our underlay, vary run length, first underlay, second underlay. That's kind of interesting. Let's do it to Tommy Phil. Hey, there we go. And we'll do a point we'll go with a 2mm spacing. We're going to go with a 4mm spacing. That looks better. And now we'll go with our underlay, and we'll do a tatami underlay. And now that's going to give us that grid that we want. We do need to make sure that we will knock out those openings. So let's go ahead and get the trapunto settings. The trapunto makes it run around the outside edge for those of you guys that are playing at home. So that's what we basically turned on. Let's grab, we need to add a hole here. And I want to do that roughly right here, there. And I'm sure there's a lot faster way to do this, but this is the way I'm doing it. So now we have one hole there. Let's go ahead and add another hole. And I don't know, I don't think that we're going to make you guys go through and sit while I add in all the 8,000 holes. That would be kind of mean, wouldn't it, Adam?
Yeah.
You know, at least he's honest. We'll keep him that way. So now we have this B here, and we'll go ahead and shift that up to the front, and we'll just move that right to the start. And that's going to do basically knock down our the nap of the towel, and then it's going to do this run stitch outline, and then it's going to do those two runs there. And finally, that'll basically be our placement. And we can actually branch a lot of this stuff together. So if we hit our H key, that's going to show us where it starts and stops, which is up in that corner. And now we can go there and we can hit, and we are also starting and stopping up in that corner. So it's going to run this kind of smash stitch down, and then it's going to run over there, and it's going to do our placement stitch immediately. So I think what we'll do here is we'll run a stitch from there down to there, and I'll hit enter. And what I want to do with this stitch here is I want to catch between the end of the B there to the top. So we're going to make sure that we start and stop up there. And now we need to run down. So we'll just grab our run stitch tool here, and we'll come down to there. And now we can run our zigzag. Let's get that green. And we'll move that up again to the start of the sequence, to the start. And we'll put it right there. So now what's going to happen is, and let's go ahead and run kind of the simulation here, is we're going to come over and we're going to do the B. We're going to do kind of the smash stitch or the knockdown for the pile. And then we're going to do our placement stitch around the outside and then around the two insides there to give us, to let us know where we need to put our fabric or our letter. We'll put that down. I do have this set up for pre-cut, so we're going to pre-cut the shapes. We'll lay that down, and then we'll sew over the top of it. If I wanted to do this as a kind of a cut in place, we would run the smash, and then I would run these these elements here in a different color, and then trim around that, and then do the satin stitch over the outside edge. So that would be kind of the sequence of order that we would go through. And we just basically do this through all of these letters, the B, the O, the R, the N. And it only took us 14 minutes to get this far. I think we're doing okay. Maybe we're doing okay. We'll find out. So we'll do one more letter for fun. There we go. And I'm going to do the tatami fill. And I want it to have the same properties as this. So what I can do is I can go make current properties and then apply current properties. And now I've basically set up this letter the same as that. So now if I digitize an object, it should just automatically have these properties assigned to it. So let's grab the O there. Let's make another hole. And I'm just going to drop it right here over the top of the existing run stitch. This there, go there, there. Oh, there we go. We went all the way around.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and sequence this up to the start again, and we'll bring it down here into the proper sewing order. And we're going to hit the H key. And we just need to make sure that we run, and we can actually just do this in the previous object here. we can move that just a little bit, grab that and put it over here. And so now it should, when we move to the next object, it should just automatically go and fit right there. So we need to make sure that we're in the proper order here. We've got that object. It's going to run that. It's going to do the middle object there, and then it's going to run this final object. And now we've got 2 letters. And 800 letters later, we'll be all the way to the end.
Yeah. At least we can copy and paste some letters. So.
Yep, and everywhere that we can do that, we should do that. It does speed up things. So, for instance, we're going to do the R. We just bring the R over, the O over. And the idea is that you do this kind of once, and then you just drag it over to make sure that you cover everything. It's a lot better to do it that way. It'll save you a lot of time. So we've got the R up there. Let's go ahead and bring it to the start, and we'll pull it down to here. And if you guys have any questions during the process, throughout the process, after the process, or at all, really, feel free to drop them in the comments. We are watching to make sure that we're catching any comments that we may or may not miss. We'll go there and there. And now we've got our hole. And let's hit the H key, start and stop. We just got to make sure that we get all of the correct pieces in there so that it grabs everything. So now we've got the R done, and let's do the N. We'll do one word completely, and then we'll move on to the other element, and we'll see what we have there. So let's go ahead and turn this into a Tommy Phil. We've got our hatch. We have to remember that none of this is going to be seen. This is all going to be stitching underneath of the object here. So we're going to be putting letters down, and then we're going to be throwing fabric on top of it. So all of this is more just to kind of lay everything out, smash it all down, make sure that we have a nice base to put our applique letters on, and then we'll just place them down on top. And then we're going to do our tack downs and move across the entire length of it. And hopefully, if you measured right, about like this, right?
Yeah.
It fits. So let's go ahead and paste that out, and we'll do the Tommy Phil here. Now we've got that letter done. Sequence to the start. I know I said I was only going to do one more, but then we got this far. So let's grab that object there. If I right click on it and pull it over, so the right click will have it copy and paste when I let go. So we can drag that over, put that where we want it, sequence to start, and we can bring that O down to right about there, outside that, inside. And we can do the same thing with the R as well. We can grab onto it there and drag it over. And then we'll double check here. The further we're zoomed out, the further it'll move the letter. So if we come out here, it'll move it a lot faster than if we're zoomed in way in here. So that's kind of a neat, handy little thing to know when you're doing this kind of stuff. If you really want to move the letter quickly, you can zoom out, and it'll make that happen a lot faster. So let's go ahead and bring that down here, and we'll put it right there. And now we've basically got our letters, 2 words, 2 left to go. And I keep looking at these. I'm like, I could probably do the T, H, and E and the rest of that because they don't have holes in them. The D does, but we could come over here and go the T, the H, the E, W, I, L, like that, copy, paste it, and hit them all at once. So let's go ahead and do it to Tommy. And then we'll sequence that up to the start and bring them down roughly to right there. So there we've got the T, the H, the E. That one didn't go. The E and the W. This went a lot faster than I thought it would, Adam.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, sort of. Oh, we took 2 of them. 1 too many. So, What I probably want to change is I want to move those up one. I want to make sure that I'm running the fill first and then the outline. So we'll just make that little adjustment right there. I, L, and then we didn't do the D, so we got to do the D and the exclamation point. Exclamation point shouldn't be that hard. That should just be a simple copy and paste and turn it into its Tommy. And let's go back a color and then back a color again. Back one color. There we go. And we'll just move. Oh, I only wanted to move one, Adam. You moved both of them. There we go. And we'll just do the D because we're here. And why not?
Oh, wait, Dad?
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible we could copy and paste the O and you use the O to basically help us do the D faster?
We could do that. I don't think, because we would have to reshape the O, the outside edges on that side, I think it'd be just as fast to do it this way. Good thinking, though. Anywhere that we can copy and paste something versus creating it from scratch is always a bonus. And yep, up there to that corner there. And now we have kind of a knockdown stitch going down. And then we have our tack down stitch there. And then we have our cover stitch there. So those 3 steps are essentially done. That'll get us through those letters.
Nice.
But we still have to have like a animal part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Amy says, good idea about copy and pasting the letters. Good idea. I'll pat him on the brim of his hat. So what we'll do here is we'll drop into the wonderful Google. And I will I have a subscription to a vector website, so we'll go there. You guys can't see any of this, so we'll come over here. And now you can see it, so I have a subscription to this site. ZBRA, Zebra. There we go. You know what? Let's grab a pattern. Let's just grab a pattern. So we'll grab the zebra print background and download and free download. We'll just do the free download and copy and attribute. So you guys can see here, we're attributing their site. And we'll go ahead and open that up. And we'll just open up the JPEG here, and I'm going to copy. You guys can't see it open up on my other page. We'll close that out of the way here, and we'll paste it. Maybe. No, not going to work. We'll snip it. Boom. There we go. And now we have kind of a zebra pattern. It's kind of fancy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to kind of get an idea of how big this is going to be. I think let's grab a shape. So let's go here and look at our borders. These are built into Wilcom, so it's just a generic shape here. Let's go with I'm thinking heart. What do you think?
Sure.
Sure. Oh. Let's zoom in a little bit here and let's get it like there. I'll go with that. So roughly, let's look at our size because that's going to be very, very important when we're talking about a scale like this. Let's dim our artwork. I do that by hitting the D key on the keyboard. And I also want to make sure that I'm keeping everything centered. So if we look here, we're roughly off. So I'm going to shift that off to the side. And then here we're off about 1/4 inch. So I'm going to zero that out. I'm not worried about the height because I want to make sure that we're staying kind of proportional. And I'm actually thinking now that we've got this, Adam, what if we took all of this and moved it underneath like so, and then centered this over the top? What do you think?
I think that actually looks better.
All right, and so what kind of scale are we getting here? We're roughly 13 inches tall. I think we'll shorten this up because I want to say that that's like 2 inches. Yeah, just under 2 inches. So let's shorten that heart up and let's pull up everything here just a little bit because we don't want to be too massive. I mean, it is going to be a towel. So we kind of want to keep the size down a little bit. And let's go there. And I think that that'll be good. Roughly 11 inches by 13 inches. So if I had a ruler here, it'd be about the size of a ruler squared. I know you're looking for one too. So now we've got that. We'll go ahead and grab here. And let's do it applique too. I'm going to do it as a separate step though. So let's first get this get a knockdown stitch or a smash. It's different how people call it. We've got a trapunto going around it, so that'll be good. And then we've got basically our run stitch afterwards. Now we need to do like a zigzag, so we can grab our run stitch and paste it. And we'll do it blue because we're just kind of staying with the coloring layout type thing. And we'll do a zigzag there. And I don't want any underlay on it. So we'll get rid of that. And I want to go a little bit more inset than that. So let's go to our special offset. And I'm going to come in a little bit, maybe a little too far right there. Let's go about 65% maybe. 56, 66, somewhere right around there. And now we've got that nice thing here. And let me grab, we've got Cindy now. Good evening. Sorry I missed out. You didn't. We're still going. Almost. We're getting there though. We're getting there. So now I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste and we're going to drop on our cover satin stitch right there. And I want to make sure again, I'm going to do a double zigzag underlay here because I want to make sure, I really want to make sure that I'm covering. We don't want any of that kind of nap sticking out. So we just want to make sure that we're going to lock that down really, really well. And now that we've got Born and Born 4 and the Wild there, and we've got the heart, let's look at our design a little bit, and I'm going to change that to red so that can be the last color change. So basically we're going to do all the lettering and then we're going to come back and we're going to push down the heart. So that way we can do it like in a different fabric. Yeah. There we go. So now let's take a look at our print that we got up here. It's a nice zebra print. Again, you guys saw we got that from the Free Pick website. And we'll go ahead and bring that in a little bit. I'm just making sure here, I want to make sure that these lines don't become too difficult or too wide, I guess we'll go with too wide. How's too wide sound? So let's go ahead and change this from the US to metric because I want to measure these to see how wide we're getting. We're roughly 8 millimeters there. So that's going to be a little bit too long, 13 millimeters there. It's going to be a little bit too wide for a satin stitch. Let's bring it down just a little bit more and we'll bring that up. And I think we've got a pretty good chance at making this one, Adam.
Nice.
Oh, let me try not to reshape the object. We'll see. Some days. So that now we're getting around 10 millimeters. I don't want to get too small. I'm worried that if we go too small, we're going to start we're going to have too much pattern in there. I don't know. Is that a thing? Too much pattern?
I think so.
So now we're about 10 millimeters. So it didn't do a whole lot. But that's okay. We'll go ahead and digitize this. So we're going to put the fabric down and sew it down. And we're just going to assume that it's a nice white fabric. And we're going to put the zebra stripes on top of it.
Okay.
That sounds like a plan, right?
Yep.
Okay. So zebra pattern it is. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to hide the green. That one, I hit it, right? I didn't delete it. Yeah, we're good. Thought I deleted it there for a second. And I'm going to select the art and I'm going to hit the K key on my keyboard because I want to make sure that it's locked. I don't want to accidentally grab it and move it. So There we go. So Cindy asks, does zebra represent fabric? So we're just going to assume that we're putting a white fabric down and we're going to embroider the zebra kind of print on top of it. And then the you could use, I guess, a zebra print fabric. That would be a thing too, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But we're just going to embroider the zebra pattern on it. Mainly because we were supposed to do something zebra. We got to make sure we do like something zebra, I think. Yeah. So we'll digitize the zebra pattern here. And when I do stuff like this, I really like to kind of work from the middle and push out. I do that on almost everything I digitize. I like to kind of spread it. So Cindy says, oh, okay, so will you just do the black lines? Yep, we're just going to do the black lines here. And we're going to try to do it in a way, hopefully, that makes it fairly simple. So I'm going to come here and come down to about this point there. And we're going to change our color. We're actually going to change our color so that we just digitize in black. That would be helpful. So got a comment here from Bevy Jean. Hello, following you guys, but got a little late. We'll have to catch the beginning on the rerun. Looks good so far. Yeah, I'm glad you guys can join us. Anytime anybody can join us, I'm happy.
Yeah.
So let's grab this here. So this is our digitized by blocks, which means left point, right point. And we're going to keep an eye here on the width as we move along and adjust if we need to. So we're starting to get kind of wide. We're getting over here. We have two options, I guess, that we could go with. And I think it just kind of depends on what we want to do. Oh, that's not at all what I want it to be.
No.
There we go.
That looks better.
Yeah, that looks better. So let's grab our satin tool. We'll use the tool. Yeah. Anyways, I got it.
Yeah.
Up here. We have to tell it that we're doing a satin right here. And then we're going to go wider. So we basically have two options here. We can either try and feather it or we can do this like a cap. And I'm going to do it like a cap. I like to get my the thing out of the way. I don't know the best way to the art out of the way. And we'll come up to right about here, maybe a little bit further so that we just cover that joint right there. And now we're going to walk up this side. So I'm going to make sure I overlap just a couple of stitches. And we'll go left, right, left, right. I'm not as fast as some of the... Well, I'm not as fast as Louise. I watch him digitize on his Facebook Lives, and he's crazy fast. I wish I was that fast, but I am not. So now we went up that side. Now we're going to go down this side here, and we're going to make sure that we path them together. And we're going to throw an auto split in here. I don't want my stitches to be too wide. This is going to be a towel, right?
Yeah.
And so we want to make sure that we're keeping it semi-rugged, so that it's not overly, that we don't snag our loop, that it doesn't snag, because that would be bad, right? If we snagged.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and we'll start here with that object. We come down to there, we go to that object, that's fine. We move this to there, that to there, that's there. Let's bring this down to here. And now we go up to there. That all looks good. And let's grab our 3 satin objects there. And we're going to put our auto split in, and I'm going to put it at 6 millimeters. So we're actually going to get a little extra split in here. So can you change the black to another color so we can see exactly what you're doing? That is a very good idea. I will do that. So let's grab all of those, and we will go to what's a less than obnoxious color. I think that blue hopefully is enough of a contrast there. So we just need to make sure that we get all of them with the auto split at roughly 5 millimeters. That one is at 6 millimeters. So we have to make sure that they're at 6. 6, 6, 6. And there we go. So it's really important that we keep it consistent. And the 6 millimeters is going to give us kind of that nice, I guess, wear versus sheen. Because the longer your stitches are, the more of a sheen it's going to have. The shorter they are, the more kind of matte appearance that you've got. So we want to make sure that we have a nice sheen to it, but we also want to make sure that it's not too long. So let's go ahead and go here. And I'm just going to run down the middle of the object here towards the point because this kind of ends right there. And we'll do that. And I'll grab here and move that over. And I forgot we need to make it sure that it is the right color. So Cindy asked, what's the overall size of the total design? So it's roughly about a foot square. So it's 13 inches wide and 11 inches. Well, almost 14 inches wide and 11 inches tall. Right around in there. And there we go. And so let's grab this tool. We'll make sure that we're on that. And I really want to make sure that when I come down here, yeah, that's fine. We're going to be about 1 millimeter wide. That should be plenty. We'll bring that up here. You know, I didn't think about digitizing the black on black. I could see how you wouldn't be able to see that.
Yeah. Because
black on black.
Yeah, it's practically invisible.
I know. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
I could probably even get on my little tool and do the pointer focus. So let's bring that to there. Let's bring that there. Let's type in pointer focus. There we go. And eventually it'll pop up here. I think it'll come up on this screen. Maybe not. Maybe it's not going to work for us today. There we go. So now we've got pointer focus. And so hopefully you guys can see everything that we're doing really well. I hope. I like to run down. It's either I manually run down or the software is going to calculate it. I'd rather just do it myself versus have the software calculate it. Personal preference, I guess. And right there. And we got to remember, if we do this ahead of time, Adam, so if we change that now, then any object that we digitize, it's just going to like automatically do it at that. Yeah, that would be like handy for certain things, right?
Like what we're doing?
Yeah. So I'm using my spacebar key to bounce back and forth between my tools. There we go. Let's bring that over roughly. I mean, I don't think that anybody's going to see the art except for everybody that's watching the Facebook Live. They might see the art, but I don't think they'll tell on me if the art doesn't completely match. Maybe they will. Who knows?
Yeah.
So I'm going to just bring this one down like this and right there. There and there, there and there. And there and there. And now we'll just cut across the whole width here and come down the middle. You know what we really should have done? We should have like set all of the underlay.
Oh yeah, that would have been smart.
It would have been, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. I blame you.
You're the one digitizing it.
But it's not my fault.
But you're the one digitizing it.
Well, maybe. You're the one who's supervising.
You know more than I do, man.
There you have it. He knows more than I do.
You know more than I do.
Maybe. So there we go. And now, actually, I'm not going to run over there. I'm just going to do this. We'll let the software calculate the path back. We'll think about it later. There we go. There and there. There and there. And yeah, we'll do that. I didn't like how it did that. We'll move that there. There we go. And I have to hit the escape key to make sure I have nothing selected because that could be really bad. We'll just jump over to here, switch to the next object. And we'll go about our way like this.
Yeah.
And eventually, oh, you know what? That's really good that that stripe didn't come inside of here, or we would have had to just do a little bit.
Yeah.
There and there and there. And now we'll just run around the middle here. How we doing, Adam?
I think we're doing good.
You think so?
Mm-hmm. Again, you know more than me.
Well, I mean, we got to look at our time. We don't want to go over.
Oh, well, we're 41 minutes.
41 minutes into it.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
There
I
we
think
go.
we should have just enough time to finish it.
I hope so. So we'll go there. And now let's run down this leg here. So the last place I put my point is where my where the machine stops. It's my last stitch. And so if I had started on this side, it would have put the starting point right there. And then the machine I would have had to go back and move it. But if I do it like this, then I don't have to do that.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of like a shortcut.
Yeah.
We like shortcuts.
Yeah, shortcuts are the best.
That's why we used an applique font.
Oh.
Oh. So Cindy says, since you said that is 12 by 12, would you consider doing a tatami? You know, I actually debated that as we sat here and looked at it and got ready to start. I opted not because if I was going to do a tatami stitch on here, because I want that sheen, I'd actually bump up my stitch length to about 6 millimeters. And that would give me essentially a satin stitch, kind of a stitch length and a sheen. I don't necessarily want the short stitches that it would drop at the end. So because we're doing a split satin, we're getting long stitches at the end and it's coming in the middle. If we did this as a tatami, and I'll go ahead and do this as kind of an example here, because this is definitely this is well within the width of a tatami stitch object that we would be doing, because it's like 12 millimeters wide. But if we did this as a tatami, and that's not the button I wanted to hit, we need to select it, and then we'll do this as not that one. Adam, I'm failing. Oh yeah, it is that one. We have to change our spacing to 0.38-ish. So bumping that up to a 7 millimeter stitch length is going to give me kind of a satin look with a sort of a different split line. But what we're going to run into a problem with here, and let me dim the art so that we can see it, is this little jagged jump back on the return. So that's going to give us kind of a little, a rougher sort of an edge, where I wanted to go with a smoother type edge, which is what we're going to get with our satin, because the return is a full kind of a stitch return. And so it's going to drop the stitches in the middle and feather it, where it's going to kind of give it that return. And I could go, I could change it to a different kind of back stitch, but even then it's not getting rid of that return completely. I'd have to go and I'd have to change my minimum length to 3 millimeters, to try and get rid of that. And it's just basically trying to hide it. And so, because I want it to have kind of that sheen, I'm opting to go with a satin that I'll end up with a split afterwards. Because it'll help kind of help define that edge. And I hope that answers your question. It was kind of a long-winded answer. But that is the reason why I opted to go with a split satin or a length limit satin, versus doing a tatami fill. It also kind of plays into, we're doing this separately. So we already did all the text, and now we're coming in to do the zebra stripes. And I did that so that if we do this in a split satin and we do get a little bit more pull, it's not going to distort my text, or knock off my applique text before it sews that down. So that was kind of the thought process and the reason why I picked the stitch type that I did, and the reason why I put those limitations on it. So hopefully that answers your question. I'm not often a fan of the way that a split satin looks, but I think with this design, it'll be okay. I think we should sew this on something, Adam, when we're done. We should sew it on something.
Yeah, we should probably.
Yeah, we should. Test. So let me catch back up here. So with that size, it would have to be a split satin no matter what. No, it could be a tatami fill. I could very easily do it as a tatami fill. And it would actually probably, it would look okay with a tatami fill too. I just wanted kind of the longer stitches so that we get a little bit more sheen. Cindy here, yeah, I like the seam with the satin. I do too, and I really want to get a good sheen off of it, and you probably said all that at the beginning. That's okay. I don't think I said it at the beginning. I don't think I justified why I used the stitch type I did. I just grabbed it and used it. So, but that's why I opted to go with a split satin, is so that we can kind of get that nice sheen, and I can get that with a tatami fill. But I don't like the kind of the short stitches that it throws on the edge with its tatami fill, especially since it's being out and open like this. Those would show, and the only way that I'd really be able to kind of get rid of that is to outline it. So I would have the tatami fill, and then I'd have to outline it with a satin. So that's kind of, that's the reason for the stitch type I'm picking, and hopefully it looks good. I'll find out if it doesn't. That's for sure. And we'll drop a stitch there. And Cindy says here, it adds some nice texture to the design too. It does. The other thing that we could do too, and had we had a chance to think about this, this is definitely a challenge, because we just had the stipulations of what it needed to be, and we didn't really have any type of art prepared for us to do. The other thing that we could have done that would have given us a really nice texture is we could have done these as tatamis with a Florentine fill. So I'll do kind of an example of that here. So if we did a Florentine fill on a tatami stitch, and we're just going to do this little edge here, there, and there, and there, and there, and there, and we'll go there. Move up this really quick because I'm checking my time. We've got 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And I think if we change all of this now, it would take us longer than 12 minutes. But if we did a tatami fill here, we change that again to a 0.38-ish there. And if we put a Florentine effect on it, so now we've got a curved fill. Let's go ahead and bring that up there and kind of curve that way and get that there. So that gives us that. And then if we threw a hand stitch effect on there to give it kind of that appearance of fur, I think that would kind of give a nice a look as well. The downside with that is because it is a hand stitch effect, we do get kind of a more open texture. And there is a possibility of show through, but I think it would be okay with black fabric. But that's another way that we could add texture to the design without too much extra work. It would just take a little bit from us to go back and change all the objects and reset all of the stitch angles. So let's go ahead and go here and here and there and there. And Cindy commented here on the connections that we use. So it's really, to me, it's really, really important that when you're doing a design that you path it. If there's not a reason to pick up the needle, then you shouldn't pick up the needle and do a trim or any type of a object that's going to slow down your sewing. Because ultimately, trims take, I think it's 20 or 30 seconds, something like that. Yeah. They take a little while to execute on the machine, and not only do you want a good looking design, you want an efficient design too, that's going to run at a speed that you can make money at. So it's not like I've got a bunch of machines sitting here that I could just let them very slowly run. I don't think I'd do that. So there we go. And Cindy says that's interesting too. Yep. And that's the word I needed, pathing. Yeah. So that's I'm a big fan of pathing designs, and you can see here, if we hide the exterior 2 stitches of this heart, let's go ahead and hide those. You can see that we have some trims in there. And so the last thing I always do after I do a bunch of stuff like this, I don't change the pathing until I get right to the end. And then I sequence through all of the objects to make sure that there are no trims here. So that one comes up there. It looks like it does well. Our next object goes there. We walk up to there, and you can see that it trims, and then it ties in, and it's just because those two objects were too far apart. So we just extended our run stitch a little there. We go there, and now we come over to here. We go from there to there, and we walk back. And again, we're having the same problem. Our starting point is too far from our stopping point. So we'll set that together. We end there. We go from there to there, there to there. And we said that we were going to make this path its way back. So we're going to have it path its way back. We're going to go there. We need to make sure that our start and stop points are all lined up. And it looks like we move from there to there, there to there. And where's our next object? There to there. We're going to use this to walk back. So we push that over there, that to there. And we come all the way. And it looks like I got my objects a little bit confused. So we're going to bring that over to there. And now it's path together, there to there, there to there. And that looks good. You can see that we were just a little bit too far with our objects there. Yeah, we've got a triangle there. So we'll just bring that up a little bit. That should take care of that. And it does. There to there. Let's move there. There to there. There to there. There to there. Let's bring that over here. So we need to move that to there, I think. Nope, wrong one. I moved the wrong one, Adam. Don't move the wrong one. There we go. Move the right one. And there to there. And that passed it all together. So you are so fast. I am not. I wish I was faster. There's a lot faster people out there than me. But I'm getting there. It's an everyday thing. You get a little faster every day. And so that's kind of the goal that I'm going with, is that I'm getting a little faster every day. So we will leave the outside of the heart. I was debating actually on just going ahead and pathing the cover stitch, the satin stitch there, into the blue. So it would just all be the same color as the outside of the heart. But after looking at it, I think that I would want the outside of the heart to be possibly a different color than the zebra stripe on the inside. So we'll leave those as separate objects. If I put them together in the software so that they branch together and I change them to the same color, then whoever ran the file wouldn't have the option to change that color on the machine, because it would all just show up as one color. So we'll leave it pathed. We'll leave it as separate objects so that they don't have that problem, or they have that option that they can do that later. And if they don't want to explore that option, then they can simply just leave it as the same color. It'll tie out and tie in and finish the stitch. So let's go ahead and do kind of, Don't forget, Cindy said, don't forget to turn the zebra back to black. So we got that here. So let's go ahead and do kind of a run through of the design so you guys can see it. So we're doing kind of a knockdown and the placement stitch for all of the letters. And then we'll put in a stop on the machine, a frame out. We'll put down our pre-cut letters, and we'll go ahead and put those down. And then we're going to run our outlines of all the letters, our tack down, and then our cover stitch. There we go. That's the words I was looking for. It's been a long day. And now we're going to run a knockdown stitch here on the middle of the heart and a placement line. So then you can put the fabric down on top of that. And we'll do our zigzag stitch to tack it all down. And then we're going to run into the zebra pattern on here, because we can't forget the zebra element.
Also, we only have 5 minutes left.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and run our zebra pattern here, and then our cover stitch there. So the only thing that I want to double check here and change is we're going to grab all of the satin stitches here on the inside of that. And there we go. Grab. And these are wider satin stitches. We've got our auto spacing. It's going to it's going to put those stitches closer together at that width. But what I really want to look at is I want to look at the underlay, and I want to go with an edge run to define the edge. And then I want to go with a, let's go with a zigzag underlay there to just kind of help fill in a little bit for anything that might not be covered. And that's going to be essentially the design. I've got my text centered, so I've got my start and stop point there. And now I'm going to zero that all out. So now my start and stop point's also going to be in the middle. So Cindy says, looks great. I just got a phone call. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll go ahead and do just one more kind of quick run through, and I'm just going to walk through it really, really quick. And we've got something weird going on with that H still. I'm not quite sure what it is, but we're going to have to fix that after the fact. Because it's not in our color sequence. So sometimes this happens where you get an odd letter that does something really, really weird and you have to figure it out. Let's go ahead and do that, and we'll look at this. We're going to hide everything but the lettering here. So let's get rid of these. We'll hide those. And I want to get rid of everything but the H. So we'll hide those. And we'll hide all of these. And how are we doing on time? We're running out of it, aren't we?
We only have 3 minutes left.
Oh, no. We only have 3 minutes left.
Hopefully we'll be able to do this.
I think we'll get it. Worst case scenario is we're just going to delete the letter, and we'll redo that letter. And we'll probably do that off of the live. But I wanted to kind of show people, when you look at the lettering, this is, by default how they did it in the software. And it looks like the tack down stitch, the zigzag stitch that's supposed to be there. So let's grab it here, and it looks like it's roughly at a satin. So let's turn it to a satin, then we'll turn it back to a zigzag. And that should take care of it. Sometimes just toggling them fixes that issue. So there we go. Now we've got that taken care of. So with that, we've got all of that done. Let's go ahead and unhide everything. I just unhided that one thing. There we go. So there we go. Digitized for a towel. Has something to do with a zebra, right?
Yeah.
Those were the two aspects of the challenge, and done in 60 minutes. So we've got about 2 minutes to spare, which gets us done. So there you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. It was definitely kind of a challenge, not really knowing what we were going to go into, but I think it turned out pretty well. I think it'll look okay. So we've got a question here from Fred. I have Stitch Era. What do you think of it? I can be 110% honest with you and tell you I have never used that software. I haven't even loaded it or anything. So I don't really have an opinion of it because I've never used it, and I'm just not all that familiar with it. So as long as it gives you the basic digitizing, satin tools, run stitch tools, fill tools, you should be able to create whatever you want. It's just when you start getting into the different softwares and the different levels of software, it just kind of moves into how fast you can do it. So you get into the more automation as you go up in levels. So without actually using the software, I can't really give you any real good recommendation on it. And I kind of feel bad giving that answer, but there's not a lot I can say without actually using it. So with that, guys, I think that's everything that we had for tonight. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Coming up here pretty soon, we're going to have a third class with Lee Caroselli. We're looking forward to that on blending and shading. We've got the Impressions Expo coming up here in September. We're looking forward to that too. All of us are going to be there, and it's going to be a good time. We're going to have some swag to give out. So if you guys are at the Fort Worth show, make sure to track us down so we can get you we can hand you some stuff. It's not in here. I'd show you, but it's not in here. So maybe next time. And I believe that's all the announcements that we have. I'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with me, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Bye.